Kira, Jack, so good to see you both. Welcome to Popternative.
Thanks for having us.
Yo, yo.
I mean, this is so exciting. I mean, Kira, I want to know, at some point there was that official kind of word or call that the Thundermans are returning. So I just kind of want to know what was kind of that first, what was that mindset early on being like, oh, wow, like we're going back to make a movie. Like what was going through your mind?
Honestly, early on, it just started as, hey, something is going to happen with the Thundermans. And so my first instinct before I could even get excited was like to ask all the questions of what's it going to look like? What's the audience? What's the genre? What's the style? What do we want to change from the original series? How do we make it a movie that feels like a TV show? Like I came in with a very with a lot of questions, and then once we had it all sorted and it actually looked like it was going to happen, then I was able to get excited.
Yeah, I'm sure there's so many questions, and the fans also had so many questions too. Like,
Yeah.
are we going to see this family again? Jack, I do find it interesting because when you kind of return to kind of, even before filming the Thundermans Return, like the table reads, getting back into the groove, did it feel like it was just yesterday, or did it feel like it was a while since you kind of saw everyone and got back into this character?
A little bit of both, you know. It had been a while since we'd all been together in the same room, so that was very much like a homecoming. But you know, once we were there and a couple days in on the shoot, it was almost like no time had passed at all. You know, I'm looking around at my cast, and you know, everyone looks more or less pretty much the same, and
Except for all the kids.
except for the kids. But you know, for us, it's you know, when I look at Addison and Diego, I still see those little kids sometimes, and I think Kira feels the same. It's weird. Our little chillins have grown up right in front of our eyes, and so have we. So it's really cool, and it's very special to have the opportunity to come back and give the fans something when they've given us so much over the years. So
Well said.
Yeah, we're definitely walking on eggshells a little bit in these interviews because I feel like I don't want to give much away and everything. And I'm a big believer, I don't know about you both, but I'm a big believer of going in fresh. Like I love just diving in, right? So what can you tell me about reading? Because this, I will say it's not a big spoiler. I mean, the scale is like, is huge for this movie.
The scale is definitely elevated. There's just a lot of people. There's like the whole main cast. We got back most of the guest stars from the original series, which was really special to have everybody back on set. A lot of recreated sets from the original series that they had to rebuild from scratch, which were really fun to see, and a lot of really super cool brand new. Obviously the new super suits are a really fun touch that we had a lot of fun with. Yeah, I mean, you know, we really wanted to try to make sure that it feels fresh and exciting and big, but at the end of the day, it feels like the Thundermans because people have been asking for that, you know, they've been asking for the show. And so we wanted to really make sure that it paid homage to the original series' energy.
I want to ask both this. We'll start with Jack. Do you think you figured out, like, because there's a lot to love about this show, and you know the movie is going to be amazing too. Everyone's going to see it. Do you realize, like, is there a thing that you kind of notice that why the show is so popular? Like, it's a lot of elements, but like, what have you noticed based on like fan interactions and going to kind of events? Like, what have you noticed that people like the most about this show and the Thundermans?
That's a great question. I think it has sort of transcended across audiences across the globe just because it strikes a great kind of mix of the superhero and family aspects. You know, there's superhero shows, there's family shows, and I feel like we created something right in the middle that might lean a little bit more family in the series. And I think this sort of new era of Thundermans is leaning a little bit more on the superheroes, but still having the family aspect. So I think that's one of the things that has made it connect. And also just the writing and the heart and how much we all really love each other between us castmates. And you know, we had so many amazing experiences as kids, you know, running around Paramount Studios, around Hollywood, and you know, like I said before, it's surreal to be able to come back and do it all again.
That's a good segue to my next question, actually, because Kira, I was really curious, and you can answer this too, you know, maybe 1 or 2 seasons into the Thundermans, because I'm sure this answer changes, and I don't feel like there's a 100% clear-cut answer to this question, but I just want your opinion. Is the Thundermans a show about superheroes, or is it a show about a family that has superheroes in it specifically?
For my money, the latter. I've always definitely considered it a family show where the thing that happens to exist in our life is that we happen to have superpowers and be superheroes and have to deal with all that. But it definitely is a family show. I feel like at the day, if somebody asked me what is the show about, I would say it's about a brother and a sister who are very different and a family.
Yeah.
And then I would go, yeah, and also they're superheroes.
Oh yeah, they're
But
superheroes.
different fans feel differently. And honestly, even different writers felt differently. You know, we had a big team of writers, and there were certain writers who, if they were doing an episode, we knew it was probably going to be a more superhero heavy scene or episode because that was what they loved. And then we had writers who always really liked to lean into more of the family dynamics. So I think it's both that makes the show fun and unique.
It's interesting because when I watch like movies that have sports in it, I always think about like, are these like, is this a sports movie or is this a movie about people and yeah, they're playing sports? Because I always think about that, which is really interesting.
Everything's about people at the end of the day, right?
Exactly. Jack, I'm just curious. How conscious are you of the audience when you're making the Thundermans? Like, do you ever look at something and say, oh, everyone's going to love this, or this is going to be a fan favorite? Like, when, there's a lot of guest stars, right, that come in, and there's all surprises, and there's some surprises in the movie as well. But, like, do you ever think, like, oh, people are going to go crazy over this, or does that happen after you wrap?
That's a really interesting question. You know, it'd be a lie to say that, you know, we never consider what the audience is going to think. But I think when it comes to art projects and creativity and creating something out of nothing, and, you know, I think the whole meaning of it is, whether it's music or performance or acting, is taking something on the inside and making it real on the outside. And when you're really doing that from a really pure place, then you really can't think about what other people are going to think.
Yeah.
But with that being said, you know, it's a kid's show, it's for Nickelodeon, and it is about the fans so much. So for this project, I would say, yeah, we definitely put a lot of thought into how it was going to connect. And we wanted to, if we were going to touch this amazing thing that we made so long ago, we really wanted to put a lot of time into making it something that was going to push the project even further along and not take anything away from it.
That's really well said, absolutely. And last question before we wrap up, Kira, I'm just curious because for the Thundermans Return, it always interests me because there is that kind of before filming and then filming a film kind of journey from a storytelling acting perspective. And in a lot of ways, you can look at those as two separate journeys because a lot happens and some things can change before you actually go to camera. So I'm curious, did it feel like for this movie, like two separate storytelling journeys, or did it feel like one big kind of journey with multiple steps?
Absolutely. It's a great question. Yeah, it absolutely for me felt like two different journeys. Pre-production was chaos in and of itself, and also like kind of stepping into an executive producer role for the first time, getting to see that for the first time from the inside and like learn.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. It was fun for us to get to do that. Pre-production was really chaotic and exciting and fun. And I was really like had my BTS hat on. And then once filming came, we had to switch into a totally different mindset and get back into playing the characters and get back used to being on camera in that way. And also it then meant juggling both on screen and behind the scene duties at the same time. So yeah, it definitely felt like two different journeys. Just also from a timeline perspective, it was like, 6 or 8 months leading up to filming, and then the flip switched, and then it's 4 weeks of like, go make a movie.
Absolutely. And the Thundermans Return, March 7th. It's only a couple days away, which is crazy. Jack, you're so great chatting with you both. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having
great
us.
questions.
Thanks.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.